Hello, Bill Hayes again. Well, guys, I've been asked, how do I make the G10 Slingshots? That's from the beginning, cutting them out all the way off to finishing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make one of my favorite designs. That's one of these. I'll make 3 of these, and then of course on this last run of G10s I did, I forgot to make one. Well, I didn't forget. I made a wrong slingshot, so I'll make one Seal Sniper standard slingshot. Now the first thing you want to do is you want to start with good G10. This is 3/4 inch thick, solid, very strong stuff. You can get it directly from the factory. That's the best way to do it. That's the way I do these. Alright, I take the pieces here. I'm going to make this one in natural color. You take yourself some rubber cement, Elmer's rubber cement. You can use a spray on if you like, but it's a lot harder to remove the slingshot from that. The template after you have it out. And I put that on there. Put it like that. Line it up good on there. What I'm doing here to save a little bit of cutting is I'm lining the edges up on the square edges here. Perfectly to try to save a little bit of cutting. Like that. Then of course this, as you can see how I do this here, these are nested so that the forks are going this way, forks are going this way, forks are going that way. And that allows you to get 3 slingshots just to take up that much board. A lot of people when they nest these, they put them where the forks are all aimed in the same direction, and they use up far too much board. They'll get 4 slingshots out of this. I'll get 7 out of this. Alright, so if I have a bunch of slingshots like that to do, I'll take it and I'll just pour a little bit of this on here like this. Take a little rubber pad or something, and smear this out. Where it's nice and thick. And then take these and line these up just the same as I did the other. Alright, so you line it up like that. Now I'll get 7 slingshots out of this because I'll get 3 more on this side of a design, and then there will be 1 extra right in here that'll fit. Alright, gonna wait for that to dry, and while that's drying, we'll discuss what we use to cut it out with. I use a Blade Runner. This is a Blade Runner, which uses a T-type of fitting for jigsaw blades, and the jigsaw blades that you use on G10 are the type that you use for hardy board or any cement laden type board. These are fairly expensive. They're carbide tipped, and they're 6 points per inch on these. And I'll use these. You can use a regular jigsaw if you like, it doesn't matter. Or you can take a jigsaw and come up with your own deal where you mount it underneath a table with the blade standing up. I just like it on this because it's just easier for me. Whenever you're cutting G10, you want to use long sleeves like this so that you cover your skin, because G10, once you make the dust on it, it is little bits of glass fiber floating around basically. So you're going to have to make sure you wear long sleeves so you don't get too much on your skin. And then also, you want to wear a mask. This is a P100. That means that it gets 100% of the particles that are in the air, and that's what you want. You don't want N99 or P99 or anything like you, where it does 99%. You want 100% of the particles, because if you breathe G10 dust, it'd be the same as breathing well, any kind of a noxious thing like a that will cause you to have mesothelioma is what it will basically do. You need safety glasses, hearing protection, and gloves, because G10 itself is sharp. All right. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and cut out these slingshots. They've dried to the board. And that's what it looks like when it's cut out. As you see, you're going to have to bring it down to the edge. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of these. Okay, now that the slingshots are all cut out, they're cut out roughly. There's other parts where you finish off the shape to them. Now we need to go ahead and drill these holes. This is a 1/4-inch bit, tungsten carbide tipped with a cobalt body. put the slots in this one so the bands can go down to the hole. Then we got holes in it all. These of course don't need a hole. Then I'll get some of this stuff out of the way over here. I put on the router to hold it there. We'll come over here, put this fan up. I use this fan to blow the debris away. Now we come over here to the grinder. This is a 12-inch grinder. We'll use the grinder to bring the line right to the very edge of that line there. So they bring the edge of it exactly, and they'll make it all perfect then. Okay, you do that so it brings this right to the line. You do that for all of them. We'll go ahead and just turn this off. Okay, the next thing is to get the line so it's right up against the edge there, so it's just perfect. We're going to use a spiral upcut router bit. There's several different companies that make really good ones. Yonica, MLCS, there's a lot of different ones like this. This one's a Yonica one here. I like these for cutting the G10 because they have a the bearing keeper on top of it is done with a press, and it makes it a lot stronger. do that all the way around it. Make sure it's all very, very smooth. I'll hit this part right here. See, it has little straps on it. I'll hit that a little bit too. Everything nice and smooth. Alright, then I'm going to do that for all the slingshots. Okay, now that the thing is perfectly smooth and right up to the line on the paper, as you can see, it's all perfect right there, just right up to the line. A lot of times, if you are a beginner and you haven't done this a lot, whenever you do some of these slingshots, this part right here, you'll find you can rub your finger along it very, very lightly, and you can feel little bumps. What you would do is you would take a sanding tube like this, and you can put it on a drill bit and do a sanding sleeve like this, and then put it on your drill bit there, and it will smooth that out a little bit more. But I've done this a few times, so it's not got any bumps in there. But anyway, so now what you do is you just take the paper off. That's the reason why we use the gum, the real good liquid rubber from Elmer's there, because it leaves almost no residue. If there's any residue, you just take it and you just move it off with your thumb like this. Now what you end up with here is sharp edges and sharp holes. So we need to do something about these holes first while it's still flat, and we'll use this bit right here. And this bit has a eighth inch pilot on it, and it goes on there just like that. So this, we'll put this in the router. Don't over tighten it, it makes it very difficult to get off. Use a flat right angled edge like this. Get it exactly on there perfect. Put the mask on. Awful. Okay, so that gives it a round over to the holes like this, and of course I'm doing it with all the other slingshots now as well. Alright. Okay, now we need to that these are all got a nice roundness to the hole here where it makes it nice and comfortable, where there's no sharp edge on it. Next thing we do is we're going to set this up to put your attachment grooves in here. Your attachment grooves are made with, this is a flat bottom grooving bit. It's a flat bottom groove bit right here. I got one over here already on the router and already set it up. And you'll see how that makes a nice groove there. I have different types of grooving bits. I have some of them that are a little bit more shallow, some of them that are just very shallow like this, some of them a little longer. For these slingshots here, I'm making these for myself, so I want a really nice deep groove in them. Some people don't like the deep groove, and so I'll usually use a little bit shallower bit. I like a nice deep groove in this thing, and it makes a very, very strong hold. You can just put one or two courses on of your tie-on material, and it'll hold it right on there. Anyway, so I'm gonna do that for all these. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and do the round over for the full outside of it here. Now the round over has different round overs that I like it to have. For this outside fork right here, I want to have a 1/8 inch round over. For the interior right here, I'm going to use a 1/4 inch, and for the outside here, I'm going to use a 3/8 inch. But for all the different round overs I use, all the bits, when I do them, when I finish, I'm going to take that 1/8 inch and I'm going to run it all the way around the whole thing. Okay, I'm going to run the 1/8 inch all the way around the whole thing, and the same thing for the 1/4 inch. Except for these tips right here, of course. And that is because as you go progressively more aggressive or bigger on your round over bits on G10, you can't just take a 3/8 inch and just go straight to it. That gives you a lot of chatter, and it makes your hands you can have achy hands after that. So you don't want to go directly to that. Start with an 1/8. Go with a 1/4, then to a 1/4, then 3/8, like that. You do it in progressively larger pieces. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and knock these out real quick. I've got a 1/8 inch round over bit on there. Okay, this slingshot's actually usable right now. Some people like to have a very small amount of round over on there and have big old squared off the edge just like that. I like it to be extremely ergonomic and fit in the hand real well. So if it's, you know, like it feels like it's supposed to be there. So I'll go ahead and bring my roundovers all the way into it here. This is rounded over here on these tips right here, just enough. This is going to be a 1/4 inch roundover. I'm going to go ahead and do that with all these pieces here, the 1/8 inch and then the 1/4 and so forth and so on. All right. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and finish these off. As you see, they're all rounded over. We have a nice round over here. But typically what happens after you route things, it leaves a nice kind of a roughness to the G10. It's kind of sticky feeling. It kind of wants to stick you one direction. It's like shark skin. This direction smooth, this way it's kind of sticky a little bit. And that's the way you can see how it works on all these. There's a couple different ways to do this. One way is to go and just take a sandblast it, hit it with a sandblaster on the edge right here, and that'll knock off that little roughness. You want to use silicone carbide, and I'm going to probably do that with some of these here in just a minute. But first I need to shape these a little bit more though first before I do that. This is not quite ready to go. There's not enough finger indentation here or back here and stuff, so I'm going to go ahead and fix these up. Now the tools I like to use, well, you can use anything you like, of course. I'll use this is a 7-inch sanding disc, and when I take them here, I always modify them. I cut the edges out here so that whenever you use a thing, the edges bend like this and doesn't gouge your piece. On a unmodified, here's another modified one. You see how it's set up so that whenever you get to the edges here, it doesn't gouge. On an unmodified piece, let me see if I can find one here. There we go. On one that's not modified, when it gets to the edge right here, it'll cut your piece right here. It'll gouge out your piece right here on the edges. So what I do is I cut this out, cut that down, and then I round it over so that it finds the edges here and makes a nice edge on it. This is a 7-inch piece. This is a 7-inch pad here. And again, it rounds over. This is obviously has been used, which is also going to make it so it's less likely to gouge the piece also. I use different types of sandpapers. This one's is 120 grit. 120, right? Yeah, 120 grit. Say P120. These are 150. And then I'll use Aberlong pads, set up with the real soft backing pads behind it. So the Aberlong pad themselves is a nice soft foam pad, but then I double do it. I put it on another 2 pads behind that, so that you can really get a nice smooth finish on there. Aberlong pads, the ones I have on this one is a 320 grit, but you get them as low as 180 grit. Alright, so let's go ahead and do some shaping here. Now I'm going to shape the fingers right in here. I'm going to shape the finger holes and everything like this, and the thumb and the outer area out. Okay, so we have it pretty well knocked down this way. I can decide whether I want a tactical finish, which will be a more rough grip on it, or if I want a polished look on it. So I'm going to do it first, is I'm going to do a polished grip on it, and then I'm going to go and put a tactical grip on it. That way you'll see how we do both of them. These are pretty sticky still. There's pieces in here that can be carved out a little bit better, so we take this off. .150 grit. Aberlon pad, 300 grit, or 320 grit, I mean. You can see how I started to pick up a shine on it right now. It picks up the shine on it just like that. Now I'm going to go, the next easy thing here to do is, we want to get this tips here a little bit less aggressive. I use two sanding mops. This sanding mop is the one I use for G10. This is the one I use for polymer. This one has two parts on it. This one is 220 grit to 100 grit, and this one is all 120 grit. Very sharp right there. gets it to where it's really nice and smooth all around it. This is actually good enough to shoot right now. You can just take it out and shoot and it'll be perfect. The idea is to take out all the edges on it that can cut the bands. And it also feel uncomfortable to your hand. Alright. I'm going to put a shine on this one. The shine's real easy to do. You just use a denim wheel, a soft wheel like this. Cover the rouge. Anyway, that's how you just do it. It's real easy to do. You use a rouge with a polishing cloth or polishing wheel, and as you see, it gets real nice and shiny real quick. Very easy. This thing feels wonderful in the hand, by the way. And then if you want it even more shiny, then you hit it with the little bit less or the finer abrasive right here, the white. So rouge and then white, and anyway, it makes it polish up real nice. But we prefer to send them out with a more tactical feel to it, to where your hand doesn't slip on it at all. Now, by the shape of this, your hand doesn't slip. I mean, it's locked in tight no matter what. But still, we want it to have a little bit more of a tack feel to it, where it feels good in the hand and almost like sticks to your hand. All right, so. What we're going to do is we're going to use a sandblaster on to get that to happen, and I'll show you how to do that next. Okay, to make a tactical finish, you simply make the slingshot. I'd turn the air compressor off because we don't want to turn it on while we're spraying here because it'll be too loud for the camera. You simply take it and you spray it off. As you can see, this one's real shiny right now. Right, so we're going to just take it and spray it off. Use a light spray on the forks, just hit them one time like that. Just enough to take the shine off of them. But in this area here, and then where the fingers hold on to it, give it a lot heavier. You hit it a lot heavier in there. And what this does is, see, G10 is glass, right? glass fiber with epoxy basically holding it together. So what you do is you spray it heavy in there like that, and it will get rid of the epoxy or the phenolic it's binding it together, and it'll leave a textured feel to it then. As you can see the texture starting to appear. Basically all there is to it. I'm going to take that out and I'll show you what it looks like. And as you can see, let me get behind the camera here and look. It's now got a dull look to it. And it has a nice texture to it. You can see the light there. And that texture gives a good grip. Feels real nice in the hand then. Feels good either way, if it's polished up or if it has the texture to it. I like the texture on it better myself, and that's why I put it on them. If a person doesn't specify which they like better, I'll just do it this way because I like it better. Alright, next thing is I'm going to take one of those side shooters in there. We're going to finish all the rest of these up, take them out and shoot them and see if we get lucky here. Maybe we light a match or something. Okay, the final step in our slingshot making journey. Shoot it and see how it handles. I took one of the side shooters, go ahead and banded it up, and it's got the latex on there with one of Ray Shot's pouches. These are the ones that he made for me. I really like these. These are made with the kangaroo on both sides. Anyway, I've got a match right here. It's windy, it's rainy, it's cold. The weather is not cooperating with us, so hopefully I can just make contact with the darn thing. There's no way in the world it can light because it's just far too moist, too humid out here. Alright, anyway, let's check it out. It's kind of moving in a little bit of a random pattern, so it's not moving a whole lot right now. I hope I can hit it. Hit it right on the frickin' tip. Yeah, cut the match. Alright guys, well I guess that's about it then. It's just too nasty to be able to get anything done. Hopefully you learned a little something about my process of how I do things, and if you can think of some better ways to do some of the steps in there, hey, let me know. Share. Alright, thanks for watching and y'all have a good day.